everyone, welcome to Adda 247, Adda 24/7. Okay, and here we are connected in the day 14 of the FSSAI recruitment 2021 sessions. Okay, so today we are going to see about the remaining sections whatever were left yesterday. So just a minute. Okay, so Food Safety and Standards Act section part 2. Okay, so what are the sections? Now we are going to see these. So I'm just searching for something. Yeah, got it. So before the starting of the session, let me tell you that 80% off is live right now on the English batches of FSSAI. If you are still planning to enroll in the batches, hurry up, go ahead and enroll in the batches. You are going to get 6 to 7 recorded class, and the remaining classes that you will get will be live. Okay, so let's start the session here. So the first one here is chapter 8. We are completed 7 chapters, and now we are going to discuss the 8th chapter, that is the enforcement of the act. Now enforcement of the act, we have first one is the section 29. What does section 29 say? Section 29 says that the authorities who are the authorities responsible for the enforcement of the act? Who are the authorities? The state authorities. Okay, so state authorities are responsible for enforcement of the act. Section 30 describes about the Commissioner of Food Safety. Okay, State Commissioner of the Food Safety. Okay, next. Now we have already discussed about the functions of State Commissioner of Food Safety, right? That he or she can appoint FSO, food analyst, designated officer. Okay, he or she can also delegate his or her powers, but except the power to appoint the different officers like the DO or the CFSO. Okay, next. Section 31, licensing and registration of the food businesses. Okay, so the different food businesses that are working in a particular area can apply for license and registration under the section 31. Section 32, improvement notice. There are certain factors, okay, where improvement is required. Is required for what? Improvement is required in food sector, in food business sector. Just a minute, guys. Okay, food sector, food business sector. Now this improvement notice is usually given by the FSSAI, okay, where it is recommended that if a particular entity or a particular food business operator needs to have some improvement in his or her food establishment, then it should be done. Next, section 33, prohibition orders. Let's assume that there is a certain product in a particular region which is not following or which is not complying to the FSS Act's rules and regulation. Okay, so in this case the concerned authority can issue a prohibition order for that particular product. Next, or they can also prohibit different food business operators from operating or selling in a particular area. Section 34, emergency prohibition notices. Okay, so let's talk about section 34. What exactly is this? For example, there are certain notices that certain prohibition notices that should be carried out immediately. Okay, so all the procedure and whatever the rules and regulations involving that is mentioned here in section 34. Now section 35, notification of food poisoning in a certain area. If there is a circumstance where the food has been poisoned, then how it should be notified, when it should be notified, to whom it should be notified, everything is mentioned in section 35. Section 36, designated officer. Okay, so in a similar way, where in section 30 everything has been mentioned about the food safety commissioner, state food safety commissioner, in section 36 it has been mentioned about designated officer. Section 37, food safety officer. Okay, so here also, hi Sunil, welcome to the session. Okay, so here also the food safety officer is involved, all the powers and everything is mentioned. But in case of food safety officer, another thing is also mentioned here, as you can see, section 38, powers of food safety officer. Okay, section 38, what is this? Powers of the food safety officer. Next, Section 39, liability of food safety officer in certain cases. If unfortunately there have been certain cases where the food safety officer has proved to be a liability, then all the actions regarding that are specified in section 39. Section 40, purchaser may have food analyzed. Purchaser like you, purchaser like me, if we want our food to be analyzed, then it can also be done. Section 41, power of search, seizure, investigation, prosecution and procedure thereof. Okay, so power of search, seizure, investigation, prosecution. If we will talk about this, then as you can see that under section 41, the food authority has the power to search a particular place, to seize the belongings, to investigate about certain matters, certain issues and carry out prosecutions. Okay, next. Section 42, procedure for launching prosecution. Okay, now if we'll talk about what are the different procedures that are followed for launching a prosecution, for launching a trial, so that is mentioned in section 42. In this you have to only remember the sections and what is usually done in the sections. Okay, now coming to chapter 8, it is analysis of food. Okay, what is this analysis of food? Talking about section 43, we have the recognition and accreditation of laboratories, research institutes and referral food laboratories. Now who provides this accreditation of the laboratories? NABL. Okay, National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories. Okay, next. Which of the following are referral food laboratory? Whenever the food authority refers a particular laboratory, that is known as the referral laboratory. Okay, next. Section 44, recognition of organization or agency for food safety. Okay, audit. What is this? Section 44, recognition of organization or agency for food safety audits. As we know that FSSAI usually hires the third party auditors for auditing of food business operators. Section 45 is all about food analysts. Okay, so how food analysts are appointed and how the work is carried out has been mentioned in section 45. Section 46, functions of the food analyst. Now what do food analysts need to do? How should they analyze the food? Okay, what are the different methods that has been mentioned in section 46. Next, section 47, sampling and analysis. What is section 47? Sampling. How to do the sample? How many samples are required? 4 samples. 4 samples. Sampling is done by food safety officer. How and who are the people who retain these 4 samples? 2 samples are given to the DO or sent to the DO, 1 to the food analyst, 1 to the NABL accredited lab. Okay, 4 samples. Clear? Next. Chapter 9, offences and penalties. What are the different offences? What are the different penalties that are usually seen here? Okay, now let's check that. Section 48, general provisions relating to offence. What should be the procedure? How different trials should be carried out regarding offences? What needs to be done for a particular offence? That is usually seen in section 48. Section 49, general provisions relating to penalty. Okay, so if any kind of penalty is given, okay, for any kind of offence, then what should be the penalty? That is mentioned in section 49. Section 50 says that there is a penalty for selling food not of the nature or substance or quality demanded. For example, if you are maintaining a particular quality at a particular price point, okay, if you are providing a particular quality at a particular price point, then you should keep providing the same quality. If it becomes a substandard or if the quality is reduced, then usually there is a penalty for that also. Now talking about section 51, it says that there is also a penalty for substandard food. Okay, for example, you are paying 100 rupees for a particular food and the quality is something known as X, but if you are getting a quality less than X for the same price, but it has been mentioned that the quality is X, then you can obviously file a complaint here. Okay, next. Section 52, penalty for misbranded food. Okay, so what exactly are the different penalty for misbranded foods that has been notified in the section 52, that has been mentioned in section 52. Okay, next. Penalty for misleading advertisement. FSSAI works with ASCI Advertising Standards Council of India to stop these misleading advertisements or different wrong advertisements exactly. Okay, next. Section 54, penalty for food containing extraneous matter. Okay, the extraneous matter like different material, if anything is getting added into the food, then what should be the penalty? If anything, if a shopkeeper or a food business operator is adding an improper thing into the food, then what should be the penalty for that? Next, section 55, penalty for failure to comply with the directions of food safety officer. Okay, what should be the penalty for any kind of failure? Okay, what should be the penalty for any kind of failure? How should they comply with the directions of the food safety officer? Clear, guys? Next, section 55(6) says that what should be the penalty for unhygienic or unsanitary processing or manufacturing of food. Okay, so it's all about reading. You have to remember this particular thing only. Okay, there is nothing like you have to you have to memorize the explanation or you have to memorize the sections. No, you just have to memorize the name of the sections, because this can be asked in the exam. Next, section 57 is penalty for possessing adulterant. If a particular shopkeeper or a particular food business operator has any kind of adulterant in his possession, then he or she has to face penalty. Next, penalty for contraventions for which no specific penalty is provided. For all the other thing for which a certain specific penalty is not provided, okay, so there is penalty under section 58 for anything that has been left out. Next, section 59, punishment for unsafe food, for providing or maintaining the unhygienic situation or for providing an unsafe food. Section 60, if a person without the permission of the food safety officer does anything inappropriate. For example, a food safety officer comes with a mobile food testing van. Okay, you cannot approach or you cannot enter the mobile food testing van without the permission of the FSO, food safety officer. But if you do, then there is a punishment for that also. Next, section 61, punishment for false information. If you are spreading any kind of false information regarding food, for example, if a certain person is providing good and hygienic food, but due to market competition you are spreading and you are being a nuisance, or you are spreading any kind of misinformation that person is not selling proper food or not selling safe and hygienic food, then yes, there is punishment for that. Next, section 62, punishment for obstructing or impersonating a food safety officer. If you are stopping a food safety officer from doing his or her work, or if you are impersonating that I am a food safety officer, then in that case here, as you can see, punishment is also mentioned in section 62. Talking about 63, there is a punishment for carrying out a food business without license. Without license of whom? License of FSSAI. Okay, next, section 64, punishment for subsequent offences. Okay, so there are different offences here. Usually the food business operator are involved, or if any consumer is involved. Okay, so if anyone has done any kind of offence, then obviously there is punishment. See, the previous sections are all about penalty. Now these sections are all about punishments. Section 65, compensation in case of injury or death of the consumer. If you are a food operator and by consuming the food that you prepared, a certain consumer faces some kind of injury or is due to any food poisoning or something, it leads to death of the consumer, then yes, you have to pay compensation. Okay, now see, that doesn't mean you can get away only with compensation. There are a lot of things, but yes, you have to pay compensation first. Okay, next, section 66, offences by companies, by different food business companies. Section 67, penalty for contravention of the provisions in this act in case of import of articles. It is about the imported article. Okay, food to be in addition to penalties provided under any other act. Next, chapter 10, adjudication and food safety appellate tribunal. Okay, what is this? Adjudication. Adjudication means anything that is any procedure that is being done, any proceeding that is being done in front of the adjudicating officer will be similar to the civil court proceedings. We had already discussed that, isn't it? So there is this is a special court for all the food related matters. Okay, next. Section 68, adjudication. How the adjudication should be done, that means the judgment. Section 69, power to compound offences. All the offences can be compounded into one, and the proceedings or the trials can be done accordingly. Section 70, establishment of food safety appellate tribunal. Okay, for example, if you will look into this, then the food safety appellate tribunal, that means you can appeal a certain committee. Tribunal means a committee or a group of person. Okay, so you can appeal a certain community or a certain committee that the judgment that or the verdict that has been given by the adjudicating officer may not be right. You can appeal for that. Hi Vishwanath, welcome to the session. Next, section 71, procedures and powers of tribunal. Okay, so what are the different procedures that usually the tribunal follows, and what are the different powers of the tribunal, okay, or the committee. Okay, hello Anita, welcome to the session. Section 72, civil court not to have jurisdiction. Okay, here, okay, civil court will not have any kind of jurisdiction, rather the jurisdiction will lie with adjudicating officer. Okay, adjudicating officer of the food authority, state food authority. Okay, you have to take a note of that. Section 73, power of court to try cases summarily. That means the court, okay, the adjudicating officer or the special court can summarize or can club up all of these matters, all of the offences, and in front of the magistrate, okay, or in presence of the magistrate or in a magisterial court, these proceedings can be done. Section 74, special courts and public prosecutor. A special court is available for all the food related material. Okay, next. Sorry Anita, I haven't blocked anyone, so obviously I don't know the unblocking list also. Okay, don't have any idea about that. Special courts and public prosecutor. Now talking about the public prosecutor, usually whenever in case of any kind of trial or any kind of proceeding, okay, so there is a public prosecutor. The same kind of public prosecutor is also available in the special court. Section 75, power to transfer cases to regular courts. Okay, now talking about section 75, the adjudicating officer or the special court has the power to transfer the food related matters to the special regular courts also. Okay, that means the district court obviously. Okay, section 76, appeal to what do you have to appeal? In cricket you see appeal for a like out or something. Similarly, you can appeal against the judgment or the verdict. Okay, next. Section 77, time limit for prosecution. There is a certain time limit in which the prosecutions should be conducted. Okay, so that's mentioned here. Section 78, power of court to impaled manufacture etc. Now, you must have heard about Jesus Christ. Okay, now these people were hanged, or these people are not exactly hanged, these people are impaled with the nails, right, on a cross. Now that is known as impale, but nowadays that exactly is not done, rather the manufacturers are punished. That is what known as impale. Section 79, magistrate's power to impose enhanced punishment. The magistrate has a power to enhance the punishment if he or she feels that the punishment that has been given to a certain food business operator is not to the par. Okay. Section 80, defenses which may or may not be allowed in prosecution under this act. Okay, whenever a prosecution is going on, whenever any kind of proceeding is going on, okay, so what are the defenses that are allowed for these special courts and what not? Okay, so this is it for today guys. Tomorrow we are going to study from the chapter 11. So tomorrow we are going to study chapter 11 and chapter 12. So as you can see, the FSSAI English batches that were started on 17th of November, okay, that was started on 17th of November, have a 80% discount right now. The batches were available at 2069 earlier. Now the batches, the only FSSAI assistant batch is available at 1359, and the TO and CFSO batch is available at 2079. Okay, so if you are planning to enroll, then go ahead, enroll in the batches, boost your preparation, for FSSAI exams. Okay, and as well as you have the agricultural Mahapack, where each and every agricultural exams are included. And finally the test series. Okay, here we have the test series for assistant, junior assistant, ebooks, CFSO, TO, and assistant and personal assistant, and the test series also for assistant and junior assistant, technical CFSO, technical officer and CFSO, and personal assistant. As you can see, the prices starts from 279 to 319. Okay, so 80% discount is live. Go ahead, but you have to use the code Y291S. Y291 will not work for 80%. It will give you 77%. Go ahead, use Y291S. And I would always recommend you to purchase from Adda 24/7 application, because you are going to get 1% more discount. If I'll talk about the batches, then 1% here means 89 rupees, 100 rupees, and here 129 rupees. Okay, extra discount you are going to get. So guys, we'll meet in the next session. Okay, till then, take care, goodbye, and stay safe.